So you're thinking about moving to St. George, Utah, or retiring there, and you want to know more about it. You want to know what some of the pros are and some of the cons are. That's what I'm going to cover in today's video, and I'm getting started right now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here in the Salt Lake City or St. George area, then click the little subscribe button and click the bell to be notified every time I do a new video. I've been getting a ton of people reaching out to me about moving here or relocating here, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I've got your back when you're moving to Utah. So the pros and the cons of living in St. George, Utah. Con number one is that it's really, really hot in St. George. St. George is in the desert and it's going to get warm. It's going to get over 100 degrees during the summertime. On the flip side, it's not going to get that cold in the wintertime compared to the rest of Utah. So you're going to really be able to enjoy that. They have a lot of stuff that goes on in St. George because of the weather, and more people are moving there once they find out about where it's located and what the temperature is there year round, that sort of thing. That is con number one, is just about the hot weather that you're going to have there. So if you don't want the heat, then St. George may not be a great area for you. Pro number one is the weather, and you're going to get some of the best weather that you can get in St. George, other than the extreme heat, which was con number one. But it's super mild as far as the spring and falls go, and the winter time it doesn't get super cold typically, so you're going to really be able to take advantage of the weather there. St. George gets a ton of sunshine and very little snow, which makes it a fabulous place. It does get hot in the summer, and the wintertime, it gets maybe 30 at night or so for some of the nights. However, typically it's going to be in the 30s and 40s at night, and then 50s during the day, which is amazing to have 50-degree weather. I would kill for that right now in Salt Lake. You're going to be able to hike and golf, all of that during the spring and the fall and the summer. So you're going to get 3 months of being able to do a ton of outdoor activities. Wintertime, it's going to be hit and miss. Sometimes you're going to be able to golf. They do have a like a Top Golf type clone there. So you're going to be able to golf, you're going to be able to hike, you're going to be able to camp most of the year in St. George, which makes it a great time for people to visit. Outside of the summer heat, it is fabulous. So that's pro number one, is the weather. Con number two is the lack of high-end shopping, which means you're going to be going to Las Vegas typically to get everything. Otherwise, you're going up to Salt Lake City, which is much further, but Vegas is an hour and 45 minutes. So it's definitely doable as a day trip, or you can do a quick overnight, just grab a room at one of the hotels and stay the night and then do your shopping there in Las Vegas and drive home. It's definitely something that you're going to be able to do. Pro number two would be medical, and St. George has great medical care. It's well known for its medical facilities there, so know that you shouldn't have any sort of issues with medical, but you will want to check ahead of time if you're moving from another state to make sure that they have exactly what you're looking for as far as doctors and that sort of thing. But know that they have great medical facilities available in St. George. Con number three is the housing costs. St. George used to be super affordable, and as more and more people have learned about its mild climate and everything else that it has to offer, especially being an hour and 45 minutes away from Las Vegas. So as far as housing costs go, you're looking at somewhere around the $350,000 range for a condo, then 385-ish gets you into a townhome. You're looking at around 550 for a single family home, up to around 1.4 million. Just depends on what size home you're looking at and what your needs are. Do you need it to have a pool? Do you want it to have outdoor space? What location do you want it in? All of that is what I help you on when we get on our Zoom call and we go over your wants and your needs. They even have this super cool $8.9 million home that's a 7-bedroom, 8-bath, 8,700 square foot home on 1.4 acres with this gorgeous pool. It's amazing. But St. George will have pretty much everything that you're looking for in homes. It's just not as affordable as it used to be. And affordability, I guess, just depends on what part of the country you're moving from. Pro number three is location. And as far as where it sits, It's at the southernmost part of Utah, which means you're super close into Arizona if you want to play the lottery, because you won't be able to play that in Utah or Nevada. So know that if you want to play the Powerball, you're going to need to go into Arizona, which is a short drive away. You have Salt Lake City, which is about 4.5 hours to the north on I-50. 9.5 hours will get you to Los Angeles. They have state parks that are 1 hour and 45 minutes away. Bryce Canyon and Zion are within 2-hour drive. You can get to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. The local airport in St. George flies to Phoenix, Denver, and Salt Lake City. And then from there, you'll be able to get on a plane and go wherever you want to go. So know that that's super convenient. Otherwise, you can jump in your car, drive to Vegas in 1 hour and 45 minutes, and then fly direct from Las Vegas to wherever you want to go, since everywhere flies into Las Vegas. So that's pretty much the location as far as St. George goes. It's in a great spot. It's close to Las Vegas, like I mentioned, but it's kind of by itself. And it's got a ton of different outdoor things that you're going to be able to go to. Con number 4 is your snow access. So when most people think of Utah, they think of like Park City and being able to go snow skiing and snowboarding there. Well, you're 1 hour and 20 minutes away from a place called Bryan Head. And Bryan Head is a nice little local resort. A ton of people come from Las Vegas to go skiing there and St. George. So know that you're going to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're driving about 4.5 hours up to Park City to be able to ski, or any of the resorts around there. They're all about the same distance once you're on I-15 headed up north. It's not much further or closer to go to, say, Alta or Snowbird or Brighton or Solitude. Those are looking like the same thing, 4.5 hours. So know that if you're a big snow skier and snowboarder, or you like to be able to use the slopes like that, you're in about 1 hour and 20 minutes away from it in St. George. Pro number 4, and well, I don't really steer this way as far as crime goes, but if you look online, you're going to see that St. George has a very, very low crime rate compared to everything. You can see what it is here on the screen, and know that crime as far as St. George goes is really low compared to most other cities, and Utah in general has low crime other than some certain areas, but you would need to look that up for yourself online. So know that that's a pro, is that it has low crime. Con number 5 for living in St. George, Utah would be the job opportunities. And while St. George is a growing city, it doesn't have the same support and same jobs that, say, Salt Lake City does. It doesn't have the same amounts of people, of course, as well. But know that St. George is driven by tourism and healthcare and education. So it's not a huge tech area as of yet. So it's not going to have a lot of those type of jobs there. So really you're looking at those 3 segments, and of course there are other small businesses in St. George. As St. George grows, it's going to add more and more jobs, but know that there are limited jobs there, so make sure that you're checking that out ahead of time. Pro number 5 could be a con as well, depending upon which religion you are based on, but St. George is 60 to 70% LDS Mormon faith. So know that this could be a pro for you or a con, depending upon your view of the church and its people. They do have the St. George Temple, and it was the first temple that was actually built in Utah, and it was built in 1877. Wow. So know that could be a pro or could be a con for you, depending upon your views. And one nice thing is that typical members of the church are very, very friendly. So that leads to the rest of the area having friendly people. Con number 6 is the water. And since St. George is located in the desert, it's prone to drought and other conditions, which makes it so that your yards are not lush and green like you would find elsewhere. You're going to have more like a desert landscape, which is good and bad. It's good that you have less maintenance that you're going to have to do on your yard. You're going to have more, plants and other things that don't need as much water, which is good and bad. It doesn't lead to things looking as pretty and stuff as they would elsewhere where you have tons of water. This year, with all the rain and snow that Utah has received, shouldn't be any sort of drought issue at all in St. George. Pro number 6 is St. George has really, really friendly people. People are prone to say hello to you. They're prone to talk to you. Just know that people are nice in St. George. While Utah itself has a very friendly atmosphere, St. George has an even friendlier atmosphere. There's a lot of retirees, so they will talk your ear off if you let them. So know that when you're going to the grocery store. St. George is also very family focused. Con number 7 of living in St. George, Utah would be it's a tourist area. And if you aren't a fan of having people come and go all the time in your town, there's lots of Airbnbs and VRBOs in St. George. You're going to run into people all over that are coming there for different events, from sports events to just visiting and hanging out there. People love to come to St. George to hike, to fish, to camp, to boat, to visit all the national parks, which is probably why you're making that move to St. George. You want to be able to do all those things. Well, you got to know that there's going to be a lot of tourists in St. George. Pro number 7 is the political climate in St. George, and it's 73.8% Republican, 22.5% Democrat, 3.7% Independent, and that's how they. Oh. Pro number 7 is the political climate in St. George, and in the 2020 election, the St. Georgians voted 73.8% Republican, 22.5% Democrat, and 3.7% Independent. So Washington County itself has voted Republican in every presidential election since the year 2000. So that means that St. George is going to be very, very heavy Republican, which is either a pro or a con, depending upon which way your political affiliation is. Pro number 8 would be the ratings, and according to niche.com, they gave it a B overall rating. They gave it a B plus for public schools, a C plus for crime and safety, a C plus for housing, a B for nightlife, a B good for families, B plus for diversity, A minus for jobs, A minus for weather, although I think weather should be an A plus, so I don't know where it gets higher than that. A C minus for cost of living, and that's just due to the housing prices and where they are. An A for health and fitness should be an A plus, of course, since you can do everything you want to do in the outdoors there, and you can do it so much of the year. And then an A minus for commute. There's not really a lot of traffic around St. George. The freeway flows at 70 to 80 miles an hour through St. George, so know that commute will be pretty easy. Other rankings of St. George, the best place to retire in Utah, it's ranked number 3. The most diverse place to live in Utah, it's ranked number 44. And the best place for public schools in Utah, it's ranked 48th. So those are the rankings according to niche.com for St. George. Based on niche.com, St. George has great rankings. So if you are planning to make that move or retire in St. George, Utah, I'd love to talk to you. Give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. I'd love to chat with you about making your move here to the St. George area. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, be rad.